Hello everybody, this is Lila in Hawaii. I thought I'd show you a little project that I particularly like because I like to make books. In fact, they're my best sellers really. And when I make them, I like to put something inside that has pockets. It's not always easy to come up with an idea, particularly since I have limited supplies here in the islands. So I devised these pockets that I make from lunch bags, just ordinary lunch bags like this. I really like them. I shall show you how I make a couple of the versions. Well, they're pretty much the same. So the first thing I do when I get the lunch bag, I cut off the bottom, and to do that I fold this part down and then just cut that off like that. And that's that. And then I open it up and I try and bring the seam, that seam to the center. And I just open it like that. That's probably pretty much it. Now sometimes I go ahead and I wet it and then I scrunch it all up 2 or 3 times into a ball and then let it dry, and that gives me a look that's like this. And this is the style that one of the styles I'm going to show you today. So it looks like that, and you can see it's very, very wrinkly. I haven't been able to iron out the wrinkles more than that, and it sometimes changes the paper color a bit. It depends if you leave it in the sun a long time. So this is the method I'm going to show you, and there's a couple of versions I thought I'd show you today. Basically, the way they work is I open up the lunch bag, then I fold up, probably 1/3 of the way, and I give it a good crease there. And then in this particular one, I put 2 stitchings down there to make pockets there and there. In this first one, I'm going to show you this version. And this version, I just sewed down the middle. And of course I sew down the sides as well. That just finishes it off. But this is the basic one. It's very, very easy. So this is what I'm making. The first thing is I'm going to fold down this part to make this reinforcement for the bottom pocket. And there's 6 pockets. So there's 1, 2, and then the one on the top, which is 3. So in order to fold those down, I make a mark like this, and this just indicates where I'm going to cut. I'm not going to cut both pieces, just the one. It's a little hard to work with it here. I'm working in my attic studio, so space is rather limited, but that's where my sewing machine is, and I like to sew these. Okay, so here I folded down both pieces, but I'm only going to use one, so I'll cut that like that and cut this on this side. So I've cut it on both sides, and I'm going to fold this back up again because that is going to stay like that. This part is folded down, so now we've got one big pocket, another big pocket, and then the pocket here. Now on this one, I wish I had sewn it or folded this way. Kind of forgot, but that doesn't matter. So I'm going to fold this in half again. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew down, right down this end and then down both sides, and that just seals it in. And I usually put pretty long stitch on my machine. That way it doesn't cut through the paper. So it's a 3 on my sewing machine. So that's one side. Now, that's one side. Now I'm going down the middle. So it's down the middle. And then, of course, I have one more side. These are great. My students in my classes really like these. They like them because they're simple and you can just glue them. They don't have sewing machines, so they can just glue them. And they hold a lot. It's amazing. Okay. Okay, well, I'll just cut off a few of those. I don't want to take all my time in cutting off threads, but you know that you have to cut off all the strings that are hanging, unless you want to keep them. Maybe use some special thread and you wanted to keep that. Okay, so here it is now. So I have one pocket, 2 pockets, and then in the top another one. 1, 2, 3, and here, of course, it usually does tend to rip a little bit, and I just got myself a new one of these thingies because the other one broke, and I'm going to see if I can cut out some of that. I don't know whether you can hear the birds, but they're really out today. Well, it's hard to cut this because the paper's so fine. It doesn't cut as well as I'd like it to. Anyway, you get the idea. You can put a little dimple there. And in fact, on some of them, I didn't have my cutter, so I just used the scissors to cut out the dimple. So this is the one I've just made. And all I do is I just fold it in half, and then I decorate it. And what do I have? I can decorate with something like that on the front. This was actually some layered pieces, and on the back there's just a plain piece of, oh, it's just some ephemera. And then inside, as I say, I've got all kinds of things in there. I make these little booklets to go in there. This one is with a flower theme, and it's just a little booklet that has blank pages for journaling. So that goes, I'll just pop that in this one. So that would go in there. This side will go right to the bottom. This side, of course, will only go down to there, and then this side will go to there. I also found that if I wanted to put, say, a little one here, a little tag, I can just slip it under there, and that gives me another space to put things. So here's this one. Wait, is that 2? Oh, it is 2 there. And there's that. Of course, you can also decorate this. Like, for example, say I wanted to decorate it with this, I could just pop that in there. In fact, why don't I do that now? So I'll just do this and decorate it. think this little thing's running out of juice. There you go, so that's decorated. Now I could add little items to that. And I could decorate this side as well. I haven't put anything on the front or back. Maybe put that there, just to hold in place. So that's the first one. As I said, I'm going to decorate it, possibly with some layers like that. And then the next version, or the other version of this type, is very similar. But where I've folded that down here, I folded down twice on the next one. So I'll show you a sample of that. And this one, as I said, I dipped it in hot water, hung it out to dry, and then I got this nice wrinkledy look. It's a little hard to glue things onto it because it's wrinkled, but I'm working on it. So this one, in order to make that same thing, so I'm going to fold this up. This time I'm going to remember to put right place. Let's see, third of the way. So this is it, and then fold that down and fold that down. That's just marking the line, and then I'm going to cut out this part. So that's that. That's that one. That's the first pocket, second pocket, and then there was one more pocket at the top, and I don't want to mess it up like I kind of messed the other one up a little bit. I had the seam in the wrong side, which happens, doesn't it? Okay, here we go. Okay, so then fold this one down. Okay, like that. And the first thing I'm going to do on this is I am going to sew the sides. These two sides. This one and this one. I'm going to do that first, and that sort of holds it in place. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go up here and across there. So right across the top, which is a single fold piece. Oh, my chair I'm slipping off my chair. Oh my goodness. I'm teaching a class today, so I'm a little bit, my mind's not quite with it. As a matter of fact, I have to get going because I also made a lovely fresh zucchini yogurt loaf this morning, and that will be for afternoon tea. British style with a cup of tea. Now these don't always come out to be, totally precise. But you know how it is, you can cover things up if you don't like the way they're looking. This one though, because it's got these extra folds, one at the top, it's got this one. So in other words, it got this pocket, this pocket, this pocket, and then this is just straight across. Now, because it's folded into three in this case, like this, I'm going to fold it into three to establish the stitching line. See there. so that's one. And then there's the other. So those are the stitching lines for those pockets. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch those. It's better if I start stitching at the bottom where the fold is. And I have my machine running kind of slow because this paper skedaddles, it just moves, and sometimes I can't quite keep it straight. So if I run the machine slow, then it's much easier. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, so I don't need any more on that. So here you go. So this is this one. And I'll decorate it later, but I want to show you how it looks. So that's that one, which is this one. It's this one. So it would look really nice if I put something, let's see, what could I put on it? I could put something like that on it. Cut it down, of course, because that's actually too big. In fact, I'd probably be better putting that on the inside here. Or maybe this piece. Also, I wanted to show you another folder. This is made from another kind of paper bag. Just a little regular, well, not really a paper bag I made, but this was a grocery bag. And I just folded it up into three, cut out some shapes, and then decorated with a little piece of dyed muslin, some stamped numbers, and then the back of it looks like that with some old paper and an image. And then inside, of course, I can put this one. This is the one I was looking for. This isn't a paper bag. And this came in the mail with something, so I just decorated the front of it like that, with a little bit of scrunched up velvet there and a little piece of an old, it looks like a dress pattern. And on this side I put tattered and torn. And then inside, of course, I have something in there. Not finished, of course, but just to give you the idea. And inside this one, let me see, do I have anything in there yet? No. Nothing inside there. So that's some other styles. Then there is another type I know you've probably seen. This is on the internet a lot. I make my own version, but the only changes I make to this one is, let me just show you before I finish up. I take a piece of cardstock like that size, which is I think about 10 by 7, something like that. Fold it in half this way, and then open it up and fold up the bottom and crease it, and then fold this back in half and fold about an inch, just over an inch back on each side, and then I round the corners there, and then I stitch that, and this is the result of that. So I've stitched it across the bottom. Where am I? Stitched across the bottom, down the side, down this side, so in other words it's down that side, and there's the little piece that I showed you where I cut the corner off. And let me see if I can find something to pop in there. Or for example, I could put that in there. And then on this side, I haven't finished these, but I could put something in there. But the other interesting part of this, of course, you've got all kinds of tags and spaces inside because you've got those two pockets, and of course it is sewn down the middle. But the interesting thing I do is I take a postcard, that's one whole postcard, fold it in half, and before I do that I always check and make sure that it's going to look okay. Yes, that's looking pretty good. It's Notre Dame, and yes, that looks pretty good on that side. If it was covering up too much or it looked funny, I wouldn't do this technique. But I take a folded postcard and I tuck it in this side, and I've glued a little bit in there, and then I tuck it in this side. Can you hear the chickens outside? They're everywhere. So, and that looks like that. So that's almost finished. Then I might add a little bit more here and here. Maybe a little trim or lace or something down there. Or I could even scallop this down here. So that's just another idea. So let me go back to these. This is the one I just made. And it has to have some bits and pieces put in the different areas. And of course there'll be something going down in this one. So that goes like that, which is where is it? This one. So that's this one. So it's a trifold. It goes into three like that. So that's one. There we go. In this case, I folded the last side right over left, and this is opposite on this one. So when it's decorated, this will be the same basic thing, but it'll be a little bit folded differently. And then this one has just the two pockets here, one at the top, of course, which is this one. And when I've gone around it, I do go ahead and I ink the sides and make it look pretty. And then I'll be adding a lot more ephemera and decorating it with some lace and trims. And sometimes it's nice to tie a cord around here. I don't think I've done that on any of these, but on some of the ones I've tied a cord around there. And they really just look great inside a book. I don't have one of my books here right now, but I'll show you in like a book like this, for example. So if I was to put this in here, it would fit in nicely, and I could either sew it down here or just glue it down there, and I'd have one flap there, and then this would open up like that, and that's kind of neat. Or it could go this way and sew it down or glue it down that way. So that's the one with the three flaps. The one with the two, this book is not quite big enough, but it would go like this. And if I was sewing it down the middle, I could sew this whole thing right in place like that. And then I'd have all that extra space without having to add very much. I'd have the pockets here, I'd have pockets here, 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 and then I could almost use those. They might slip out, but I could try it and see how that would work. Wouldn't go this way, but it would go this way. Wouldn't it? Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Lila in Hawaii in my attic. Now I've got to go and teach the class. Bye for now.